I have a very special guest joining me tonight. I'm going to pull him in as soon as I see that request, and we will get started. Wow.
What's up?
You're
It's the
you're
hippie.
sideways. You're sideways.
You see it now?
Special guest, Jimmy Allen.
What's up, buddy?
Man, it has been a long time.
Yeah, it was. What was it? It was Houston. Houston at Warehouse Live.
No, I
Where
think it
was
was
it?
after that. It was the Good Hurt Club in
Oh yeah,
Los Angeles.
yeah. That's right.
Yes, absolutely. But you
Man
were
of
correct.
knowledge.
Right. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm surviving. Things are
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Everything's good. Yeah, everything's good around here too.
Well, welcome to the Matty Rocks Experience Live Instagram sessions. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. So I just want to start off and get some insight to how you're doing wherever you're at during these crazy times around the world and what's going on with us. So give us some insight to what you're up to.
I've just been, working on projects and stuff. Everything here in Kansas City is really good. Everything still looks like it's in full swing. There's certain things. I live kind of close to a major hospital. I drove by there the other day. Parking lot was empty, so that made me feel good about things.
Does that make you wonder?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Why are they empty? That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, the one for the trolls, right?
Yes, exactly. Jimmy, during this time, what things can you give the artist ideas to be working on during this time?
A lot like this, you know what I'm saying? I mean, stuff like this, you can actually get out there and just play stuff. I've been trying to teach myself some drums because I got a drum kit, and I've been kind of just focusing on that. And it's like I think people can focus on other things than sports and stuff or what's not going on, because I love sports. But I think it's good just to, for a while, everybody can focus on doing stuff, for a while.
Absolutely. Let's jump back to your past. Let's jump back to the early days of you. Take us back to the early days. Is it Chanute?
Yeah, Chanute, Kansas.
Chanute, Kansas, and give us some insight to how music and guitar playing came into your life.
Basically, really just kind of custom amplifiers was from Chanute, Kansas. The old customs, people still use them today. Custom amplifiers were there in Chanute, and I have a good friend that I have the project with Cooker with Troy McCoy, and like we were kind of all raised around kind of people that kind of played guitar. It was one of those things where that's kind of all we had. You had the people that played sports kind of, then you had the people that were kind of the stoners and the rock dudes, and it kind of just, I don't know, learning guitar was really hearing Randy Rhoads, hearing Mick Mars from Motley Crue, hearing a lot of those guitar players. Eddie Van Halen's a big one too. Just growing up in the 80s kind of was, kind of drove me to kind of just be into guitar. And then I figured it out real early that it's like you can shred all day, you can really just practice. And I shredded and did the whole thing. And then I just realized, man, it's really not about this whole shredding things. It's about writing chords that actually sing over stuff and kind of, so I was like, man, I think I want to be a songwriter. I want to write songs. I want to hear myself on the radio and stuff. And it blows my mind that that's actually happened. And I'm very blessed to have that happen. But it's like, it really came from just learning to play guitar and just listening to the sounds of the 80s and the 90s, I guess.
You mentioned some really good guitar players there. Who were some other ones that you really looked up to that made that all come to be for you?
Really like Jimmy Page, Zakk Wylde, Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield, all those dudes. I mean, growing up in that time, you remember how guitar was just like, it was really fascinating to all of us, I mean, really to it would blow your mind, some of the stuff the guitar players were doing, or the songs, how they sounded. Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kim Thale, the guy from Soundgarden, and all those guys. Like, I love guitar. So like, if it's a good guitar band and they have something that they're doing unique, I'm usually into it, you know?
Right on. Yeah, and I grew up with three brothers who played guitars, so I know the fascination around the guitar.
You don't play, Matt? You don't play at all?
I don't. I never had an interest in it. I was the groupie. I was the groupie. I was the groupie. And I think one of my brothers is tuned in tonight. So.
Oh, cool, man. Hey.
All right. So before we get into some of these projects, what did you do before Puddle of Mudd? What things were you doing musically to help prepare you for that project?
You know, I mean, really, it was you know, one of those things where, you know, Puddle of Mudd really was kind of my first band that I developed. You know, I kind of started with the drummer at the time, Kenny Burkett. You know, Troy McCoy was involved in that. But I had a band called Gypsy Blue that was from Fredonia, Kansas, and then they were already kind of hip around Fredonia and around the Kansas area, and I kind of got to play with them for a while, and that was really cool. That was before Puddle. But really, Puddle was kind of my first band that, you know, I played my own songs. You know, I wrote songs for Puddle of Mudd. I wrote that for my project. And so it was I kind of got lucky, dude, you know? So, I mean, I just that was kind of my first band, really, Puddle.
Okay. Give some insight to the project of Puddle of Mudd and how that inspiration took shape and all came together.
Oh, it's one of those things where, you know, we kind of blew up with one of the songs I wrote called You Don't Know, which it's on the new record, Welcome to Galvania from Puddle of Mudd. It got, you know, we put that on there, and it kind of blew up around here like in '94, you know, Matt. So it kind of blew up in Kansas City where I'm at, and it did really good, and we got to play shows, you know, opening up for Tesla and opening up for all these, you know, major acts. And so it kind of blew up from there, and then it kind of crashed, man. We didn't, like, I think we ate ourselves up first before, like, we kind of let everything get ate up with drugs and fights and weird stuff. We kind of let it kind of deteriorate to a point where Wes was kind of the last man standing, and Fred Durst got involved, and, you know, the rest is kind of history on that.
Right. How did you guys come up with the name Puddle of Mudd?
Oh, the Missouri River flooded in '93, and it flooded our practice space. And it was, Wes and I were sitting there, and Wes was like, man, this is a puddle. And I was like, Puddle of Mudd, that's a good band name. You know, and I think Sean Salmon, our old bass player, he knew a band in Seattle at the time, and they were called Puddle of What? And that was he had a shirt, he even wore it, you know, Puddle of What? And I was kind of like, man, that's a good band name, but I've never heard of them. So it's kind of ironic, the whole thing.
Right on. You know, you wrote some of these pretty successful tunes from this band. You know, the band that still continues to play them to this day. You know, bands all around the country still playing these songs. How does that make you feel when you hear these songs continued on?
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. You know, it's one of those things where, yeah, I'm really blessed to have that. It's nice, you know, and it's cool that, like, a lot of these songs I could still turn on my radio and hear them, you know. And that was Against All Will was one of those things where, man, that's how you know kind of a band's kind of developing well. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when your song, you can get in the car and just turn it on and the radio's on. You're like, kind of as a songwriter, as a person, it kind of puts you in you're like, whoa, this is cool. So you always have to crank it, and everybody's like, what the fuck are you playing?
You returned to Puddle of Mudd for a very short period of time. What did that consist of?
Oh, basically it was good. You know, we got to play Times Square on New Year's Eve, and there's a bunch of little runs. I was talking about that today with my girl, and it was cool, but it's like you could kind of see what was kind of coming up with Wes, you know, what happened with all that other stuff where he just totally did a nosedive. You could kind of really see that I kind of, maybe I should have embraced him and probably maybe, but I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have probably said to him, like, you know, it's fucked up what you're doing and all this stuff to people, and not just me, just everybody. And he just kind of fired me that time. So I was just kind of like, yeah, man, I mean, I talked to him, and everything's good. I think he's doing well, and I'm glad. I'm happy for that. You know, it's really cool that the song still can carry on. He deserves it. He's busted his ass to do it, and that's one of the things is, man, nobody can take that away from him, that he hasn't quit, even with that big pitfall that he went through, which was pretty hard. You know,
absolutely. Jimmy, what would you say was your biggest contribution to that project?
Just my songwriting and guitar playing. The way I played, it's kind of, I have a, also I kind of taught Wes how to tune down to D. He never really knew about that. So when you tune down to D as a youngster, man, it really opens your mind to how many riffs you can do that kind of are really kind of cool. So I'd say it was kind of be my sound and my songwriting, basically, what kind of sloppy kind of sound, grungy kind of sound that it has.
That you still hear today.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. After Puddle of Mudd, you were responsible for writing music for other people, some other bands, some other projects. Who were some of those other projects that you took part in?
I did a lot of co-writes. I mean, a lot of stuff that never even saw the light of day, which kind of bums me out. I get to listen to it, but it's kind of copywritten by the other band. But I did a couple songs with Buck Cherry, which was really cool. And then Biff Naked, I had 2 or 3 songs that I wrote and recorded with her. And then there's been so many other different projects that, like, Against All Will. We got, Twist Face, with some buddies from Chinook. We got, DJ Dirty Chaos. We got all kinds of different stuff that I've been working on with, and it's endless now. I mean, I'm always inside. I got no reason to go outside. I got to wear my Stormtrooper helmet to go outside.
Out of all those songs that haven't seen the light of day yet, which one to you, which one would you say do you hold really close to your heart? It was something that was really special for you that you wrote. Any one that sticks out to you?
The one that's not released is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Definitely Pump and Dump.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll hear it someday.
Yeah, I'll try to put it out. That's the thing is maybe I'll have to just put it under a different name and nobody will know.
Do you have connections with Biff?
Yeah. I think she's doing great.
I would love to, I would love to have her on the show sometime.
Oh, she is awesome. She's a big animal activist, and I think she had breast cancer, and I think that she beat it, and I think that she's doing good. I think she's on tour with Buck Cherry, or they were going to go on tour, which here we are with no tours and stuff like that. Kind of bums me out, but so I think she's doing well. But she definitely has. She's tenacious. She's definitely it'd be a good convo.
Well, if you have some influence in there, let's make that happen.
Okay, cool, man.
All right, 2007 comes Against All Will, a project that I fell in love with, and guess what?
I know, you're the man. Look, yay!
I came prepared tonight.
Yeah, you're the man.
How did Against All Will come together and take shape for you?
It was really cool. I mean, you were around during the early days, weren't you? Yeah,
I was.
So yeah, it was really cool. We had that family, in LA that we all kind of hung out with, and all the people were flying in, like Eric Barney and stuff. But it's like Dion and you guys were like there at the very beginning of everything, and it kind of thing that bums me out the most, man, is dude, we were doing good, man, and Jeff had to drop us. Dude, that's what really bummed me out, dude. I was bummed out, and then I lost my parents, and that bummed me out, and I went into a dark hole, and I'm sober now. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not drinking, and I don't want to kill myself every day. So it's like, but that's the thing that bummed me out, man. It was Jeff, dude. Matt, we had major labels flying us to New York and everything. We had and he just kind of just dropped the ball on us, dude.
Yeah. Was it hard?
Bummed me out. Yeah.
After Jeff, did you ever have feelings like we got to get that singer into this position? We got to get a singer into this position to carry this project on?
Yeah, and we still do. That's the thing is I think that I work at a level where I want to find somebody that wants to put in as much as I put in. And, like, I know Chelo Diaz and stuff like that. He's like that. He's one of those guys, and he's got some cool stuff. It's like he puts in as much work as in, and that's what I kind of want. It's like you can kind of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make people drink it. Right. It's like, so with Jeff, the whole thing was, he was such an awesome front man, dude. And
He was.
yeah, see, you were there.
I saw it with
Yeah,
my own eyes.
yeah. And I was there in the studio, and I worked with Jeff, and I busted my ass. I spent as much time as he did, and he did the same for me. And to let it go over a girl, I think, is really just really weak, man. It's really, I hate to say it, and I don't wish him any ill will. He hasn't tried to reach out to me to say anything or whatever, so I'm glad he's happy or whatever he's doing, but it's like, it kind of bummed me out. I put a lot of work into that. I put a lot of my time and money into that project, and it started to get radio songs that were kind of hitting without us doing anything, So it's like, yeah.
Right. Where did the name come from?
Against All Will?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good story. That's a good question, man. The thing is that, me and Moke, the original drummer for Against All Will, we were talking one day, and I can't remember what I said. We were talking about, because Moke was in Puddle of Mudd when I helped write Schizophrenic Psycho. Mm-hmm. And Moke played the drums on the original demo for Schizophrenic Psycho and all this stuff. And so we had to play Schizophrenic Psycho over and over again for a 2-month period with Moke and I, and Wes and Doug or whatever. And so when Moke and I were kind of working on Against All Will, I was like, what about a band name? He's like, how about Schizophrenic Psycho? And I was like, how about we never play that unless it's Against All our Will? And I was just like, that's a sticker. And Moke was like, yeah, that's a good name. Let's stick with that.
There you go. We heard it here on Matty Rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I like those kind of questions because I never really thought about that. But it's one of those things where it was kind of a funny thing to say because it was like playing Schizophrenic Psycho over and over again, which it's a big song for Puddle of Mudd, but it's playing it over. It's really the most rudimentary guitar playing you could ever play. And it's just kind of like, yeah, you play it for 2 months straight. You're kind of like, I'm over that song.
The songs that came to life for Against All Will, were these the brain of you? Were these the writings of you before, or was this done at the beginning when this project came to be together?
A lot of it was all before. A lot of it was recorded kind of all in the middle kind of there, but a lot of the ideas came before. There was all kinds of people involved, from Marty O'Brien to Mizzy and Moke and Steve Wilson, our buddy, and cello. We even had 3 or 4 other bass players, so they just kind of tried to help out and stuff. And it kind of really came together because I think it was, Marty O'Brien, I think one time we were talking, and he said something. He plays with Lita Ford, and he's been on a bunch of stuff, and he's like, man, you got a bunch of cool songs. You should probably just start your own band. And I was kind of like, I kind of wanted to do projects, but I never really wanted to kind of have my own band. So it was kind of like, yeah, maybe I should, and then that's when Moke and I came up with that name too. So
right on.
Shout out to Moke.
Right on. A Rhyme and Reason. You guys got to take that into a very special studio.
Oh yeah, dude. Have you looked that up?
I do my research.
Yeah,
you know that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So how did that come to be that you guys got to use Korn Studio?
Yeah, the crazy thing is, Matt, dude, look it up when you're done with the interview. It used to be Music Grinder Studios. Oh. Okay, you know what was recorded there? Look what the Cat Dragged In by Poison, Megadeth's Peace Cells. There's a list of, and Korn bought that.
Okay.
Rented it for $25,000 a month for I don't know, 10 years or something. Even while they were on tour, they had that whole studio complex locked out. Their road gear was in there when they weren't on tour. Their PA, it's a huge studio, first off. But in the 80s and 90s, Rat recorded there, dude. There's a lot of, if you look it up on, it'll show you all the albums. It's trippy because somebody was talking about it the other day, and I was like, that's a trip, man. I didn't know about it. And I looked it up, and then I saw all the records, maybe 2 or 3 Poison records, just classic, more than, just hair metal, but a lot of that metal era from the 80s, so it was kind of Music Grinder. It was down there off of Hollywood Boulevard, Korn Studio. And dude, it was, let me tell you, it's a full class studio, but all their gear, they let me use their amps. They let me use the board, and they let everything, because Tim Harkins, the house sound guy there, was a friend of mine, and he was like, dude, yeah, we can record it. You know, they don't care if you use it. And, you know, they were never in there. I mean,
Okay.
I was there with Tim for maybe 2 years, dude, cutting other people's stuff too, not just working on Against All Will, you know. So it, you know, when it came up with all this, it would have been, I think I paid like under $5,000 for 2 months in a
Wow.
Korn's studio, basically, with all the, you know, and Tim was working, you know, because he was wanting to help me develop these songs. And I can't remember what songs he plays bass on, Rhyme and Reason, on, I think Nothing Good Anymore, maybe something else. And he's a great engineer, producer guy. And, you know, I lucked out on that too. So thank God that, you know, I wasn't having to, you know, pay studio costs, like, you know, because a lot of people now are just doing it from their house, which I do it from my house too, but it's never anything like you would get in a studio like Music Grinder, Korn Studio. It was,
Wow.
yeah, it was phenomenal. I wish, the funny thing is I think about it now, and I wish that I would have filmed more stuff being down there, because they have like cool paintings. Jonathan Davis has all these cool microphone stands with the, you know, and it's like you get to see all that stuff, and it's like they had a whole room full of pedals and amps, which I just geeked out on. You know, Tim was like, "Get out of there, guitar geek."
Well, you taught me something new tonight, because I only scratched the surface of that history, but
Yeah, Music Grinder.
Okay. All right. What was the ultimate goal for Against All Will? What was the ultimate goal for this band?
To kind of get my songs out there to people, because, you know, a lot of them I played just for people because I had meetings with Warner Brothers and a bunch of other people, and I was getting actually feedback from people, because, you know, I think it had a lot to do with the Puddle of Mudd success. You know, I think it had to do that people were kind of wanting to see what I was writing and working on. So, I mean, I think it really came to where I was just like, let's just do this. And, you know, but, you know, I paid for everything. Still, no labels bit, you know. It was like one of those things where we were like flown out to see labels and flown out to play for labels. And it was kind of nerve wracking, but it was really cool. But you kind of felt like maybe you were just being put into the cog of stuff. Like people just trying to, you know, like Against All Will song, All About You. You know the song All About You, right? We
Absolutely.
played it and stuff, you know,
Absolutely.
it did well. Well, Hinder was wanting to buy that from us. Hinder was wanting to buy that song after it kind of cracked top 10 or something somewhere. The label got a hold of us and said Hinder wanted to buy it from us. And it was like, I can't remember what they wanted to buy it for. I think it was somewhere into the numbers of $20,000 or something.
Wow.
By then had already spent like $50,000 on Against All Will, you know, working. So I was kind of like, well, man, if it's doing well for us on the charts now, then let's just stick with it. And, you know, it's been a good song to me. I mean, I see statements from it. You know, we're still unrecouped from the label.
Right. Right. And if I remember correctly, didn't Dion's daughter star in those videos?
Jade was in that video, and that's the thing is Dion, she's old school with us, man. She was there at that. She, you know, bless her heart, she brought her in, and it turned out. Mizzy, our old singer that helped me write Drug I Need, filmed it. Jeff was in the video, so that had to be kind of weird tension between them, but Dion brought her daughter, and it worked out. The film, it looks really good. I think we paid. I want to say we paid $500. You know,
Wow.
You know, so it looks good. I think it has 800,000 or some views on YouTube for a video that at least we, you know, didn't go out of pocket too much.
You were creative. You thought outside the box. You worked within your means.
Yeah.
That's great. A lot of bands can't do that. Jimmy, what would you say is the missing ingredient that wasn't present, and why this band didn't continue down its path? Was it?
I think Jeff. I think the whole thing. I think everybody. It crushed Steve's spirit. It crushed Cello's spirit. It crushed my manager's spirit. It crushed my spirit. It was just, dude, he didn't even talk to us, man. You know, just call me, dude. And like, if he needed a break or something, I'd have been like, dude, that's fine. You know, I wasn't like holding his feet to the fire, but I think he really I think the girl, he fell in love with the girl, and I don't know if she was a stripper or not, but I've heard through some other people that she used to be a stripper or something, but that's why he left the band, basically.
Okay. Is there still an Against All Will?
Yeah, there is, yeah. I mean, and we're coming out with it this summer. We got two or three really cool tracks, man. And, the thing is, we're still keeping our eye open for the singer that kind of could step up to where Jeff was. Jeff was a great singer, and he was a great front man. And Absolutely. He worked really hard, but we don't want a guy that's going to just kind of flake out after a year when everything doesn't go the way that they think it's going to go.
So who are the players in this project? Is there people yet? I mean, can you talk about that yet?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we got me, we got cello, okay. We got Dan Johnson from the band Red helping out with drums. Ooh. We're gonna fly Steve in, and if Steve, wants to do some more songs, I got more songs for Steve too. So it's like, we want to open it up to everybody, Well, that we are here. I'm here. And whatever I can do to push this project to get it to help you guys, I'm there, buddy. Cool, man.
Always.
Yeah, cool, dude. I appreciate it.
All right, we come to current day, and you're working on a new project called
Cooker.
I got
Cooker. Have you heard it?
I have.
Cool.
I have. Yeah. So how did Cooker come to be?
I decided to sing. So no, I'm kidding. No, really, what it was is it's a project with my good buddy Troy McCoy from Chanute that we grew up together. We grew up playing guitar together and stuff like that. And we wanted just to do something really raw. So it's recorded on tape. It was recorded at Red House in I think Eudora, Kansas. So everything's on tape. Like, I did my vocals in 1.5 days. I wish I could go back and change some stuff, but then I don't.
Hey.
Yeah, keep it raw, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
The thing is, I had a lot of people that I played it for. Some people work at radio, and other people are just fans of my songs. And they're kind of the Cooker thing. They're kind of like, man, it reminds me of Nirvana. And it was like what I kind of had in my head the whole time. Like, let's just play some. I think I played a Fender, not a very nice guitar. Yeah, I played a Fender. No, I had a Les Paul and a Fender on it, and it. Just kind of trying to do the grungy thing, and I think when you can't edit on tape, there's mistakes in there that are cool, it's hard. Mm-hmm. And maybe not, there's some that aren't so cool, but then there's other ones that on tape that you're like, where did that come from? It's kind of a weird edit or a weird just instrument from playing in the room, getting bleed. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that this project definitely has some grunge to it. It's got a raw, I don't know how to describe it, a raw grunge sound to it, but so 9 songs, and the record is Setting the Head on Fire.
Setting the Head on Fire, yep. We got a new song coming out pretty soon called It Doesn't Matter. It's it should be coming out, I would say, almost summer now. I mean, I think we have everything done on it, maybe just to have master or something like that. It's pretty cool. You'll dig it. It kind of has an Aussie kind of feel to it. It kind of has an Aussie, like a Black Sabbath kind of thing to it. It's pretty cool. Okay.
I have to ask, where did Cooker come from? Where did the name come from?
Because we practiced in a place. We were practicing all the songs in this place that was like an oven in there, dude. It was like, dude, I've never sweated so much in my life, dude. My guitar strings, everything was rusting out. It was then we were like looking at each other. We're like, man, that place is hot. It's a Cooker.
Wow, it's amazing where these band names come from.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the new project, and if you're going to be working on Against All Will, how do you balance all those projects and keep them all spinning at the same time?
Yeah, it helps to have I have a great manager, a great publicist. I have great everybody that kind of is on my team, and it's kind of easier that way now, especially too, we're in this lockdown thing. It's like, that's what I've been kind of gearing up for, is kind of doing releases and trying to do videos and try to do, just everything it gets to be, if you don't have a lot of people kind of helping you, it could be really time consuming and really just kind of like, you get frustrated sometimes when things don't go your way or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, like video Absolutely. And all that stuff, mm-hmm. Dude. There's always gremlins at stuff, and you're like, where are these gremlins coming from?
Right. Jimmy, I want you to take us back. I want you to think back throughout your entire musical career so far.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I want you to think What would you say is your biggest musical accomplishment to date?
Oh, wow. That's a good one too, Matt. That's a good one. I would say definitely I'd have to go with She Hates Me, man. I mean, as easy and simple as it is, it's four chords that never change. But every time it's been in movies, it's been in TV, it's been here, it's been there. Number one rock track,
The
platinum records for a song that I wrote
the
in 10 minutes.
accolades go on
10
and
minutes.
on.
I wrote it in 10 minutes, dude. Like stream of conscious, all the words, everything. Wes didn't really come up with much on She Hates Me besides la 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 la.
Right, right.
So,
Well, that's a huge accomplishment, and it's, still to this day. So congrats to you on that.
yeah, thanks, man.
What's on the horizon for you, Jimmy? Besides, we talked about some of these, but is there anything else further out there
Have you
on the
heard
horizon?
Cello's? Have you heard Cello's new project?
I think I have.
Okay, that's me. That's me and Cello. Yeah. So we're working on his little thing and doing Against All Will on the side there too, because I play bass a lot too. So Cello's a bass master and he's good at guitar too. So he's got his project coming up, which he's singing on.
And he'll be a guest on the Matty Rocks Live Instagram.
That's what I
sessions.
heard. What's up, Cello?
Yay. Jimmy, where can fans and followers keep up with everything that's going on with everything about you and all the great music that you're putting out and the projects that you're putting together?
Oh, you can go, you got all the things. You got YouTube for Against All Will and Puddle stuff. You got my stuff coming out, and then you got my Instagram, Jimmy Allen Songwriter, and Facebook, all that stuff, Twitter. And they can find it. iTunes has some pretty cool stuff that nobody's really heard from Against All Will that's not on the Rhyme or Reason. And I didn't know really it was up there at first, and then I think I saw something somebody posted, and it was really cool because I was like, oh, I haven't heard this song in a while. And it was really cool to listen to. So, yeah, I think iTunes might have some different stuff. Maybe other people, like Spotify, do. I don't know.
Right on. Okay. Well, go check all those places out. I know I'm going to for that Against All Will stuff. Jimmy, I'm going to give you the same opportunity that I give every artist that I have the opportunity to sit one-on-one with. And that is a message to not only Matty Rock's listeners and viewers, the people that are viewing right now around the country and around the world. What would you like to say to them?
And everybody take care of yourselves and, stop giving into the whole fear thing and stuff. And, it's weird that, we're in this time together and it's kind of, you see the worst and you see the best in people, but it's like what I'm seeing is, I don't know what it is where you're at, but where I'm standing, some of this stuff that they're putting out there is getting people sick because people are buying into this fear. I'm not saying that there isn't a, virus. I'm just saying that there looks like on the news and everything, they're really ramping stuff up for some reason, and that we should look beyond what they're kind of showing us and try to see the other side of things, and to be like, what's going on behind the scenes? Because of course they're not going to tell us about anything. We're going to tweak out. They know we're going to tweak out. This could be a test just to see if we're tweaked out, and everybody gets so tweaked out and they're so sensitive about stuff. It's like, dude, with all the drugs I've done, Matt, dude, a virus ain't going to take me out. It's probably going to be probably smoking cigarettes, but I'm not counting on that either. It's probably going to be, who knows? But everyone dies, dude. We got to get over it and move on. The economy goes down. All these people are going to have no homes and they're going to be in the street. They're going to be trapped together. So it's just going to spread if that's the case they have it in. I just want everybody to take care, and look beyond what, everybody's kind of putting out there. Do you know anybody that's actually sick, dude?
I don't.
I don't either. Yeah, I talk to people every day and they don't. And I'm not saying it's not real. And I would think people would really want to look what's going on behind the scenes maybe a little bit. Like what you and I are doing, talking face to face. There's doctors doing the same thing. They're talking face to face saying, hey, are you seeing anything? And they're like, no, we're not seeing anything. And then we're like, you turn it on the feed to watch TV and it's just like death and death and death, death and death and death. And you're just like, this isn't, their fear makes you sick.
It does.
It's proven that fear can make you sick. And these people are buying into this stuff and they should fear God. You don't fear a virus, dude. Fear God. Seriously. I mean, I'm not trying to be a Bible thumper, dude. No. But it's like, people are going off on me on Facebook, dude. And I'm just like, hey, man, I'm just posting some videos. I didn't sit there and create them and edit them and put them up there. But I have people asking me questions from everywhere. I have friends in Australia. I have friends in New York. I have friends in Germany. I have friends that I talk to that get me different. And I have doctor friends, and everybody's telling me that nothing's going on. So I'm kind of trying to get the truth, or whatever. There is fraction of the truth out there. And I hate to rant about it to you, but it's like one of those things where, like, hey, man, don't crucify me just because I'm trying to spread a different alternative view, because it's proven, man. TV runs our brains, dude. We're warped from TV. I mean, sports are gone now. Everything's gone, from sports to concerts to everything. And we've been warped in the head by TV. I think there's a lot of programming going on in this stuff. And if you start to look into it, it's kind of creepy. But I'd rather look into that and be called a conspiracy theory than watch Fox News and watch CBS and watch CNN and the whole mainstream media. I just think it's really kind of crazy, man. I really think that you should take care of yourself and the ones around you, but you can't save everybody.
Well, if you and I disappear for some reason, everyone, if we disappear, then you know something's wrong, okay? Jimmy, is there anything I left out? Anything I left out that you want to add? That?
Oh yeah, I got something. Check out Twist Face. I think they have. I just worked with Twist Face, and they have a YouTube video. I think it's up there. Just look up for Twist Face.
Okay.
Shout out to those guys. What's up? You know.
Right on. Jimmy, thanks again for taking the time out of your evening to sit one-on-one with me here on Instagram Live.
It was good talking to you, dude.
It was good catching up, man. It's been so long, and I hope we don't go this long again, and hopefully we'll cross paths sooner than later.
All right, we'll hang out, man. All we got is time, brother.
Absolutely. You've heard it here, Instagram listeners and followers. Matty Rocks and Jimmy Allen wrapping it up on Instagram Live. Matty Rocks, brother. Thanks again, and continued success to everything that you've got going on in your musical arena.
Cool, man.
Matty Rocks, Jimmy Allen, out.
Killer.